So let's get started. Thanks to everyone who's here live. Thank you, everybody that is practicing this at another time. Really happy to be here with all of you. Let's do something today to help our eyes relax. Maybe we've been working on computers or reading or doing something, right? Just our everyday looking around. If you have glasses on, you can take those off. Sit as comfortably as you can. Doesn't matter how you're sitting, as long as you're comfortable. And then take your hands, bring the palms together, and start to create some friction. And use some elbow grease. Get your hands rubbing pretty vigorously. Do this for a few more seconds. Nice and hot, and they're really, really warm. You feel a lot of heat between your hands. Close your eyes and gently cup your palms over each eye. Drink that warmth in. Bring your breath up behind the eyes. Try exhaling out through your mouth and letting your face relax, letting your jaw relax. And just enjoying this feeling, warmth at your face, at your eyes. One more deep breath. You can imagine this warmth just permeating through the eye into the ocular muscles behind the eyes. And into the brain. And we'll repeat that just one more time. Bring the hands together. Go on the second rub. Try to go really fast. Your arms are getting a little tired. You're on the right track. And then when your hands are really hot, just one more time. Cup them over your eyes and breathe. A little mini sauna for your facial muscles, for your brow, and for your eyes. When you feel ready, you can let that go, keeping the eyes soft or keeping the eyes closed. And just tuning into our breath. Feeling the earth underneath us. Maybe even feeling as we sit here, as we rest here seated, this gravitational pull, our body sensing the earth holding us. And maybe it's really not an efforting move at all, just almost part of releasing our weight through our hips and into the floor. When you're ready, you can keep your eyes closed. Open them if you prefer. We're going to do a tractioning move for our hips. Bring your legs and feet into Baddha Konasana, that butterfly shape. And bringing the heels together in front of the groin. They can be anywhere from maybe 12 to 18 inches or so from your feet to your groin. And then I'd like you to locate these 3 points on each foot. And feel your heels, just like that center point of the heels. And can you press them firmly but gently into each other? Press the heels together. And see if you can find the pinky toe knuckle on each foot, that baby toe knuckle on the outer foot. See if you can press those 2 points into each other. And then last but not least, the big toe knuckle points. See what it feels like to draw those two together, pressing them together. We can think of it kind of like creating a tripod shape or map. Heels pressing together, pinky toe and big toe ball mounds pressing into each other. And see if you can keep that going, keep that press happening gently but firmly as we set up this traction. So we can think of moving thigh bone away from hip bone. Let's start for our left hip. We'll go first. So we can bring our right hand to the ground outside the right hip. And then the left palm goes somewhere on the inside of your left thigh, inner left thigh. And on your next breath, as you inhale, can you allow your belly to become a little softer? Allow it to round as you breathe in. As you exhale out, applying just a bit of pressure through your left hand. Not so much that you're chasing a stretching sensation, but rather it's helping you to become a little more aware of the left side of your pelvis, to become a little more focused on how your thigh bone can start to move away from your hip bone. Take another slow breath. When you're ready, down towards the left side of your hip, left side of your low belly, left side of your waist. And then as you're exhaling out, feel if you can add a little bit of press through your right hand on the floor. Both hands really gently pushing down. We'll hang out here for about 3 to 5 more slow breaths. As you keep feeling this, I want you to notice not only is this a tractioning move for your thigh bone, moving the thigh bone away from the hip joint, but you might also sense that pressing your hands down into earth and into leg might give you some assistance in leveraging the torso up and away from your pelvis, up and away from the hips. I'm just noticing any sensation of space, any areas of your body that you start to notice. Feels like there's maybe some buoyancy there, or something somewhere was maybe feeling dense. Perhaps the tone of the tissue starts to become lighter, more floaty. When you're ready, we want to almost think of like we're slowing down a car by letting our foot off of the gas pedal little bit by little bit, releasing that pressure so that we're not just letting it kind of like rubber band snap back to like that rebound, just like easing it back. And we'll do this for our right leg. So left hand goes to the ground, somewhere outside the left hip, and you can just feel around what feels the most supportive to you. Right palm to the inner right thigh. And we'll give the right side of our pelvis a few deep breaths here. Slowing down your next inhalation, let it last a long time. Can you feel for bringing that air into this right side of your belly and the right side of your waist? And as you're exhaling out, give a bit of a press through your right hand. Not so much that you're trying to find a really deep stretching sensation, but more that you are assisting that femur bone, that thigh bone, to start to scoot out away from your hip joint. So you can think of that press also is a little bit of a pull, pulling the bone from the hip towards the knee. And then when you're taking your next breath, as that air is coming in, can you aim the breath down towards this right side of your hips? And when you're exhaling out, pressing a little bit through the left hand on the ground and finding a balance there, pressing through both hands. And as you breathe here for a few more breaths, can this all together, the press of the feet into each other, see if you can bring that back. The gentle press down through your hands. Can this help you to create some more space, some more length through the spine by lifting the torso very subtly away from your hips, away from the earth? One more long, luxurious breath here. When you feel ready to come out, really slowly let that pressure fade away. And then let your torso and your head come all the way back up to center. Using your hands on the outside of your thighs, help close the legs out of that Baddha Konasana shape. And just stretch the legs out in front of you for a moment. We'll play with a little bit of internal and external rotation of the thighs. So letting your legs and your feet roll in towards each other and roll out away from each other, in and out. With the legs long, noticing how that feels. And then setting up your fingertips behind your hips on the floor, maybe a little bit wider than your hips. You can always play with distance, what feels comfortable for you. I have a little bit of a bend to my elbows. Then bend your knees and plant your feet on the floor out in front of you. Maybe about as wide as your hips or a little bit wider. And we're going to play just a little bit more with some internal and external rotation, this seated windshield wiper twist, this hip mobility. Let your legs and your feet fall over to the right and then bring them back to center. So the feet are standing up, the knees are pointing towards the ceiling, and then let them fall over to the left and back to center. And we're just going to do this a few times. There's no goal. You don't have to get your legs, that outer leg, to come all the way down to the ground. You want to make sure that this is feeling good for the chest and the shoulders. So you might need to walk your feet a little further away from your butt. The hands might need to have to come closer or farther from your butt. Just give that little bit of a wiggle, a couple more times. And then let that go and extend your left leg straight out from the hip. So left leg is going straight forward. And then like half of a Baddha Konasana, letting the right leg open out to the right, knee bent, and the sole of your right foot is somewhere along the inside of your left leg. And from here, we're taking a forward fold. You can do this with no props, or you can add some props to this. Let's say you have a bolster or a couch cushion or maybe a pile of blankets. Bring them out onto this straight leg. As you inhale, feel for that lengthening that can happen through the spine. And then as you're exhaling, you're leaning forward, torso coming into your support structure. So for me, that feels like a little wobbly. Doesn't necessarily have to set up right on the leg. Now I want to put it, for me, kind of on top of my bent knee leg. And a lot of times I just want to feel for the edges of the cushions to really snuggle up against the ribs and the belly. And as you lean forward, feeling like you're really leaning your torso into some support. You can like cross and fold your arms, or maybe stack your fists and let the forehead start to come down. We're just going to hang out here in this forward fold for, I'm going to time us for a couple of minutes here. So we're going to hold this for a while. Feel free to take props away or add them. I actually think I want to feel this no props. If you don't have any props, that's absolutely a fantastic way to practice this pose. Just letting your torso start to lean forward and down, letting your hands find the floor or brace on top of your legs. I want to give us some space just to feel. So now that we've moved into these restorative poses where we just hold and release and relax while we're here, I'm going to really let go of cueing. So there will be some moments of silence, but I'm still here. Just giving ourselves some space to enjoy the quiet, enjoy the dark and the candlelight, enjoy these sensations. We have about 1 more minute on this side of our one leg straight forward fold. Is there anything that you want to adjust? Maybe you want to add a prop or take a prop away. And focus on deepening your breathing here, or just allowing your body to breathe for you now. When you're feeling ready to start to shift out of this side and transition to side 2, using your hands and your arms, you can push into your props or walk your hands in towards your hips. Bring the torso up and then the head. And then I invite you to choose in between sides, whichever one felt better to you. Just legs straight out and rolling your legs in and out with the support of the floor. So you just got your legs straight out, you're rolling them in, rolling them out. Or come back to that seated windshield wiper hip mobility thing. Planting the feet, fingertips behind the hips for some support, keeping the spine and the chest lifted as you let your legs and your knees, your feet, sweep side to side a couple times. Then then when you feel ready, let's set that up for side two. So for side two, the right leg is going to stretch straight out. The left knee will bend. Lay that left leg out to the floor to the left of us, bringing the bottom of the left foot up against the inner right leg somewhere. And then from here, you have some options. Again, if you liked the props, you can kind of play around with however kind of setting them up on your lap makes sense. Kind of like on this straight leg, a little bit on your ankle, bringing it all the way into the belly. As you inhale, feel from your hips to your skull bones, spine getting a little bit longer. And as you exhale, starting to round forward, leaning into the support of your prop. Or simply walking the hands forward, out onto the leg or out onto the floor. No props. You can kind of keep building your tower. Like I have some blankets, I have another cushion. I can maybe even see if I can get these blocks to help me out. You can kind of like keep building your tower up towards your forehead. Letting some support come all the way up to the skull. Ooh, and letting your head just lean into that support. That kind of feels nice for me on this side. And we'll simply be here and observe and witness areas of the body that may have been carrying some tension, feeling the support of this pose, starting to unwind, starting to remember the spaciousness that exists inside of your body and the places we can touch into with our breath, with our awareness. And I'll have some moments of just silence here. But I'm still here. And just halfway through this side, if you're feeling like there's something to adjust, something to make this even a little more cozy, And do that now. I'm going to ditch my props and see how it feels. Just my body in the pose. Let's check in with our face and our eyes. Is there any softening that can happen there? The brow, at the jaw, and the lips. Super relaxed through our facial muscles and our eyes. When you feel ready to start to rise back up again, just take your time, bringing the torso and then the head back upright. Can help that left leg to straighten out. And again, windshield wipering the legs with the knees bent, or just simply internally and externally rotating your legs straight out ahead of you. Just wiggling them out of that. And then let's make our way down onto the back for a supported laying down spinal twist. If you have like a pillow or a blanket, might be useful for this next one, because we'll put something between our thighs for this twist. Let's see how that might feel. All right, so when you're ready, come lie down on your back. Cool. So when you get all the way to your back, bend your knees, put your feet flat on the ground. Enjoy the floor for a moment. Might feel really nice to meet the floor through your spine. Letting the back of your body start to acclimate, start to realize, ground is rising up to meet us and to hold us here now. So having your blanket maybe folded into about a rectangle or so, or your pillow or your bolster, just have that over on the floor to the left of you. And we will pick up both of the feet and just hug the knees in towards the chest for a moment. Might be fun, might feel good to rock a little bit side to side, massage through your back. Feel that pressure roll across the back muscles. And then when you're ready to come into the twist, come back to center, come to stillness with the knees tucking in towards the torso. Arms will rest on the floor, left and right. They can go straight out. You can bend them at the elbows if you like. Take a slow inhale. And then as you exhale, start to bring both of your legs over to the floor to the left of you. And then the idea is that we can get that bottom leg, that left leg, to meet the floor. So let's say that's not happening. One of the ways that you can use the prop is bring the floor to your left leg. So you would tuck that thing underneath your thigh and your shin. Let your legs fall into that support. And then if you do have a second prop, like another blanket or another pillow, then put that between your thighs. If you do make it all the way to the floor, that very first prop could be the prop that goes between the legs So you might play around with two props here if you have them. Something that brings the floor to your leg and something that can keep a bit of a hip distance between your thighs. Now you might wonder, what are we doing with the shoulders, especially that right shoulder? When we roll our hips and our knees over to the left, the right shoulder might start to kind of pop up off the floor. That's another reason why bringing the floor to your left thigh might be really useful. So you can take the twist, but still be in a position where your right shoulder and shoulder blade are falling back and leaning into the ground. And now we just melt here for a little while. If you are enjoying directing a deeper breath, controlling your breath, yourselves take some deeper breaths, ballooning the breath out into the right side of your rib cage, up into the right side of your chest. When you're exhaling out, what parts of the shoulders and the neck might be willing to soften here? Likewise, you can take a deep, full inhalation and aim that breath down towards the right side of your low belly, the right side of your waist. As you're exhaling out, is there anything anywhere in the hips, the low back, the legs that could soften a little bit more? And then we'll rest here in silence for just a little bit. Scan and feel your body if there is anything about this shape that is calling out to your attention, something to fine tune so that this feels a little more comfortable. If you're feeling a little bit compressed in the hip joints or in your lower back, you could consider almost straightening the knees a little bit. That might not be the best description. Uh, the further your knees are coming up the floor towards your left armpit on this side, the deeper this stretch might go into the low back. So if that's feeling like it's too much, starting to let the knees move down the mat, down your space away from your left armpit. That might open up a little bit more comfort, some more space here. And then another variation of this, if you want to add on, would be to counter twist in the neck, in the cervical spine. So if our knees and our low back spine are turning to the left, we can counter twist with our cervical spine. Let our eyes and our head gently turn to look to the right. And we'll rest here for just a few more moments, settling back in after any adjustment you've done. Now, if your head is turned to look right, let that come to neutral first. And if you, like me, have like a couch cushion or something kind of heavy, like a bolster between the legs, get that out of the way here. Just kind of like slide it out before you unwind your twist. Because that would be kind of extra challenge for the core that we're not really going for today. We go one leg and then the other. You can really slowly unwind yourself back to center. And again, we can hug the knees in towards the chest, rock a little bit side to side. And then we will set that up for the other side. So again, if you have kind of like a big heavy cushion, or you're using kind of two props, right? Something to bring the floor to your legs, something to go between the thighs. Just move those props over to the floor to the right of you now. And then pick the feet up. The arms reach out left and right on the floor. Nice slow inhale when you're ready. Moving into the twist on exhalation, exhaling and bringing the legs over to the floor to the right of you. And see how it feels on this side. Very often, our twist is going to feel very different side to side. Maybe you can come a little deeper without a prop on this side. Maybe you need some support. So bringing the floor to your leg with a prop, and then bringing a prop in between the thighs and the knees. What's kind of fun with a couch cushion, or if you have maybe a long king size pillow, is you can sort of position it in such a way where the prop is touching from your inner thigh and knee down your lower leg to the ankles. So kind of getting that whole section of the inner leg from thigh to ankle, kind of like sandwiching your prop. That might feel really supportive. And then again, we want to find whatever props help us to be in this twist with both shoulders meeting the floor. So that again might mean putting some prop on the floor and leaning that right leg into that support. Bring the floor to your leg. Ooh, and then we'll start to settle in on this side. What can soften and unwind as the earth holds us here. Breathing here now. And if you're enjoying taking those deeper breaths, feel for washing your breath through the left side of your rib cage, up into the left side of the heart, into the chest on the left, down the rib cage, into the waist and the left side of the belly, left side of the low back. Or it might feel more relaxing today to simply let your body breathe for you. Scan and feel your body if there's something you want to adjust. Do that here. Again, we can add that counter twist with the cervical spine by really gently letting the head and the eyes turn to look across the floor to the left of us. Let's see if that feels interesting, if that feels good. Keep it. If it feels irritating or like it's a bit of a strain, you can take it back a little bit or let it go completely. What else is willing to unwind, to soften while we're here? Excuse me, everyone. From here, eventually, you can slide that prop out from between the legs, especially if it's heavy. Nice and slow. Unwind your twist. Help your legs back together, back to center. You can hug your knees in towards your chest, rock a little bit side to side, do any little movement that feels good for you there. And then ease your way all the way, over onto one side. Gently press yourself up. Come to hands and knees. Yeah. We'll do a little baby back bend with some support. So this is in the family of Shalabhasana, also known as locust pose. But we're going to do this with props. If you don't have props, you can simply practice laying prone on your belly, no back bend, and that would probably be absolutely lovely as well. If you're interested in the little bit of back bend, so you're taking your couch cushion, your pillow, or maybe a little bit of stack of blanket, put it up on one end of your spot, turn away from it, put your feet and kind of the kind of lower portion of your shin is going up onto that thing, and then make your way down to your belly. So your feet are going to be higher than your hips and your knees. And we're coming all the way down. Might feel good to make a pillow for your forehead by folding your forearms, bringing your forehead onto your hands. And just snuggling into the support of the earth here. Feeling for the pull of gravity, what it feels like in this position, this prone position. And if you're choosing to breathe deeply, kind of focus on aiming your breath into the lower back and into the sacrum, down into the pelvic floor. As you're exhaling out, are there any areas of the pelvis, especially the pelvic floor and around the anal sphincter? Can something there soften? You might get a sense of, as things start to relax in the glutes and in the pelvic floor, it's like your bottom of your butt, your seat gets wider. And it also might just feel fantastic to let go of controlling your breath. Just focusing on becoming as effortless as you can be, letting your body breathe for you. Scanning and feeling in this shape. Is there something to adjust? You can widen your feet a little wider if you like, keeping them up there on your prop. If you have your head turned instead of having it and kind of forehead supported by your hands, I'm going to turn your head the other way now. Mhm. And when you feel satisfied with this shape, you can really gently let your torso kind of prop the chest up. You can push up to hands and knees, or it might feel good just sort of to roll off to one side, kick this prop situation out of your way, and make your way down to laying on your back. So you might have to sit up to come down. And then using that same prop, if you have it, to now, it's almost like, in a way, the counterpose to that, sort of. If you have it available, when you lie down on your back for Shavasana, to have this rolled up blanket or your pillow or your bolster underneath the knees and the thighs when you lay down on your back. So your knees are a little bit bent when you're laying back. And that's how we'll Shavasana. You can stay there the whole time, or maybe just for a little bit of it and then kick it out of the way and lay all the way flat to the mat. Now is a great time if you have your blanket to lay it on top of yourself so you stay really warm. And maybe even for a little extra spinal support, if you lay all the way down, it kind of feels like your neck needs some extra cushion or some support there. Just putting a little bit of blanket, like an inch or two, underneath the back of your skull. So something behind your head and something behind your knees and your thighs. And then bonus points, extra gold stars if you can turn yourself into a burrito, putting a blanket over you. So tuck yourself in, making sure you stay nice and toasty warm. So maybe this resonates with you all. I Speaking to friends this week, it just feels like pretty much everyone I know is feeling tapped out, feeling exhaustion, feeling really tired. So, using the remainder of this practice to continue to experience rest. So, these poses are helping our nervous system to reset back to that state of being where we're receptive, we're able to digest, we're able to rest and restore. Allowing the body now, give yourself permission to relax as much as possible. Feeling the earth holding you. allowing all of practice that has led up to this moment to just continue to integrate into your system. You might start to daydream. You might even start to feel like you're drifting away somewhere halfway towards sleeping. Allowing that to happen if it does. Hmm. Allow your body to remain here, feeling this level of relaxation you might be experiencing. what this state of being feels like in this moment. Connect to that. And we'll close our practice here so that if you choose to, you could continue to rest for as long as you please. We do not have to come back up to seated. Just hang out right here and close practice together by using one of those exhalations that makes the sound of ha, the Taoist healing sound for the heart, H-A, ha. We'll do this 3 breaths, 3 times. And we can bring our hands somewhere near the heart, the chest, at the breast, just somehow touching there with our hands in a way that helps our shoulders stay relaxed. Finishing the breath that you have inside of you right now. And then start to slowly inhale. And as you're inhaling, gently take the breath as full as you can, but still feeling comfortably full. Let the breath out with ha, 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 ha. We'll do that 2 more times. When you're ready, fill up with air. Get a little fuller. Let it out with ha, ha. One more time together. Inhale in, around, and through the heart. Filling up a little bit more. And letting it go. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing your practice with me. I hope that you have really lovely sleep and continue to rest. I'll see you all next time. Mwah.